Lindsay. How are you?
I'm doing great, Michelle. How are you? How's it going?
Yeah, I'm good. Well, I was sick last week, but my friend made me soup and left it at my doorstep.
Wow. Who even does that, Michelle?
Yeah, she's amazing. Just kidding.
Incredible.
This didn't really happen, but it would be very nice.
Everyone wants a friend like that. That's what's so
Yeah.
nice. There are people out there that are very thoughtful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so nice. Yeah.
Maybe one day. Yeah. Dan did make me soup yesterday, so that was good.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Partners can do it too, for sure.
Yes, exactly. So today we're going to talk about a very native and unique way of speaking. And so this is a special expression, a special construction.
Yes.
And it came up in a recent conversation that you and I had, and we wanted
Yes.
to take some time to go over it.
Yep. The best episodes happen when we hear ourselves say something very spontaneously, naturally on this show, guys, and we think, boom, that would be a great episode idea. And here it is today. So what exactly is the expression for today, Michelle?
Okay, well, from the role play, it was who does that? So it's basically who blanks that. So, for example, let's do who does that. So is this, Lindsay, when someone says who does that?
Yeah.
Is this a question to be answered?
Good question. No, I'm not supposed to start listing, well, sometimes my partner does that and the friend down the street does that. No. You're not asking for an answer, right? It's rhetorical, right? It's an exclamation saying that basically something that's been done by someone is kind of shocking. It's out of the ordinary. Michelle, would you say this is positive or negative?
So I think it can be either. So let's look
Yeah.
at the role play from the beginning.
Yeah.
So I said I was sick last week. My friend made me soup and left it at my doorstep. And what did you say?
I said, wow, who does that?
So is that positive? Or are you saying something
Yeah.
good or something bad?
I think it's positive. I think
Yes.
it's positive here. It's more about the fact that maybe I'm saying like it's a little old fashioned, right? Or it's just people just don't take the time to do these nice things as
Right.
much anymore is what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. That person was so generous or so kind. It's out of the norm.
Yes.
So it's
Yes.
surprising, but it's in a good way. So, you're not asking me, it's rhetorical. Like I said, my friend brought me soup and left it on my doorstep. So if you saying who does that, I wouldn't say my friend, I just told you.
Right. And you wouldn't list other people who might do that. Like I said before, the person down the street might do that. No. It's just saying, hey, this is not normal. I'm not used to this. It's really nice in this case.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, exactly. So we're going to talk about
Yes.
this more in just a second. But guys, we want to remind you to hit follow wherever you're listening to the All Ears English podcast.
Yeah, hit that follow button. We want to come up right in your listening queue. Every morning we publish 5 days a week, guys, here on the show. So hit the follow button now. All right.
Yes.
So Michelle, I bet our listeners are asking, we said, yes, it can be positive, but can it be negative? What do you think?
Yeah, for sure. I almost wonder if I hear it more in a negative way. What do you think?
Yeah, interesting.
I mean, it really can be
Yeah.
either. It just depends.
Yeah, it's kind of, I feel like I hear it more in the sense of that was weird. That was a weird
Ah,
thing.
that was
person.
weird,
So is
yes.
that negative or positive? I don't know. It depends on what was done. Right. Yeah.
Right. So, for example, he had his friend break up with me.
Oh, God.
Who does that? So
Who does that? Yeah.
that's negative, right? I'm
That's
not saying something positive. But
Yeah. Because it's it's a childish thing to do. It might be
Right.
something that happened in 5th grade for your 5th grade
Right.
boyfriend, right?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Or she spoke to me about how to handle my situation for 2 hours. Who does that?
Yeah. So maybe you were having trouble with something and you needed some advice. And so this would be a really positive thing. I mean, this person is very generous with her time, and people aren't always like that. They're very busy and they don't necessarily want to spend that much time.
Yeah. Or even sometimes like a service provider, you might say that, like if your doctor really spent a lot of time with you, most doctors are just in and out, right?
Yep.
Because they have 7 other patients waiting.
Yeah.
You might make that comment about your doctor too.
Yes,
Right?
absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
Yes.
Here's another one. She separates all her laundry and has a color-coded system in her closet. Who does that?
This is funny because, we're currently staying at a place where the owners are one of the owners is very particular. I'm not going to use another word that I could think of to say particular, but it's like I see what's done in the house to make sure there are paper towels that are put between the pans to make sure the pans don't scratch each other.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I think to myself every morning, who does that? I mean, things are not alphabetized, right? Campbell's soup is not alphabetized, thank goodness, but things are very particular. And if anything is out of order, people notice. So this is a good example of clashing lifestyles, right?
Right. Exactly. I mean, here it's just saying like something is odd. Like I wouldn't be able to put in that kind of effort. That's not important to me, so I don't quite understand it. So it's not necessarily positive or negative. It's just like what Lindsay said. It's odd. It's a little weird. It's unfamiliar to me.
Exactly. Everyone, and that, I think you really hit the nail on the head there, Michelle. You just don't understand it. Right. Right. You need a different way to say that other than I don't get it or I don't understand.
Right. So Lindsay, is this very familiar to you, this construction? Would you use this a lot?
Yeah, I like this because I think the more we live and the more places, even, as we travel around our own country, we get to know different ways of life. And, you want to be careful who you say this to, right? Because it could be looked at as negative. So when we're crossing cultures, I probably would maybe avoid it, right? Or I might say it in my head if certain things are done in a different way. But that's just cultural diversity. We love that, right?
Right.
But like as we meet new people and especially go into their homes, we see different lifestyles.
Also when you join, when you get married and you get to really learn a family and you see different things. And
that's a good example.
Mm-hmm. You're like, you see things that are different than how you grew up, what you're used to.
Yeah. For you, Michelle, when you married Dan, was there anything about their family that you were like, who does that?
There are things.
Maybe you don't want to say on the mic. It's okay.
They're amazing, and everybody has quirks.
Sure.
So but anything you can share?
Yeah, I was trying to think. Nothing that comes to the top of my head, but I don't know. Mostly positive things, I guess. What I loved was the fact that my in-laws have a tradition of skiing on like the big holidays, like New Year's, Christmas. But that I probably wouldn't say who does that because to me, that's just a cool thing. Like,
right.
That's not odd or strange to me. So it doesn't quite work for the phrase who does that. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to just be with does either.
Yes.
So you could put in other things. You could say like, who says that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is what's cool about this phrase. So we're going to give you guys some ninja tools now. So who says that is a really good thing. So what are we essentially saying here?
Like they said something weird or rude or maybe good. It just depends on the context. So for example, he told me I was boring. Who says that?
Right. So here you're saying, I'm not boring and everyone knows I'm not boring. Right.
Right. And also like, how can you just say something like that to someone?
Yeah, for sure. Or you could say, who eats that? Or you can throw in even, right? So I threw in even.
Yeah, we're going to start to throw in even.
Okay, we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah,
right?
We'll get to even. Yeah.
So this one qualifies for a lot of things. People have don't you have a weird thing? Don't you do pickles and peanut butter or something? Or what is it that you do?
No, cheese and peanut butter or like what else? Cheese and peanut butter, something else in peanut butter. I can't think of it right now, but I have some weird eating quirks.
Me too, as we all do, right? We all do. When I was a kid, I used to eat jelly and cream cheese sandwiches. I don't know who eats that.
No,
I
that's
did.
good. No, that's good. Like if I have a bagel, or an English muffin, I'll put cream cheese and then I'll put some jelly on top. I get that.
Yum. I haven't had it in years. I'll have to try it again after today.
Yeah. See, now you're gonna want it.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so I used to. Well, I still would dip popcorn in milk. That's my other one.
Oh, that's weird. Michelle,
Yeah.
who does that?
Who does that? Who eats that?
The
Yeah.
interesting thing is I could also say who does that because it's something you're doing, right? And it's something
right.
you're
The
eating.
dipping. Right. Exactly. So,
Yeah.
for example, are you seriously about to eat that? It's old. Ew. Who eats that?
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. Or who thinks like that? This is interesting. For example, his beliefs are so archaic. I mean, who thinks like that?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
maybe you have a friend who has very old beliefs and
Right,
maybe not
traditional
as
or something.
Yeah, a little more traditional. So and you don't agree with them.
Yeah. And you can also tack on with this particular example, because we're talking about the age of the beliefs, you could say, I mean, who thinks like that in 2026?
Right.
You could add a little bit more context if you just want to dress up what you're saying, guys. Okay. Good.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
we'll do one more. Who believes that? So my sister tends to be pretty gullible. She even believed what the governor said in the interview on the news. Who believes that?
Yeah. And I see this could be a hot one right now with how divided our news scene is and how different the
Right.
news channels are in terms of what they're feeding out. So this is a relevant one for this moment. Yeah.
Yep.
Michelle, why are these good for connection, by the way?
Oh my gosh. Well, they're fun.
Yes.
You definitely are showing your personality.
Oh, yeah.
When you use these, I think they're relatable. And
Yes.
comments on what you think is odd or what you're used to. So you're sharing.
You got it. So as we mentioned before, when I was talking about traveling, that's an example of where we want to be careful, right? Anytime we're experiencing another lifestyle or just a glimpse into someone's life, we do want to be careful because this can be seen as judgmental, right?
Right, exactly. Especially the ones that are being used in a negative way. So you can use them in a teasing way, but you should be close to the person.
Yes.
Or maybe you don't really know them well, but you're telling a story about something that
Yes.
happened.
Yes.
So, you just have to really be smart about this one because there's a lot of directions you could take it in. And if you're
Yes.
using it in more of the negative sense, that's when you just want to especially be careful and think, okay, what am I being mean-spirited? Would this person be offended by this? Are they, But Lindsay, we were talking about other words we can add. So we were doing this a little bit in the other examples. So we're going to do a couple. So the first one is, I mean.
Yeah.
So
This one probably deserves its own episode, entirely separate from the phrase, Michelle. I'm not sure if we've done it before.
I feel like we have, but I'll take a look. Yeah.
Yeah, take a look. And if not, guys, hit the follow button to make sure you don't miss it. But this is something that native speakers use extremely commonly, right? I mean. So, I mean, what is this I mean thing, Michelle?
Yeah, it basically means you're saying your opinion.
Yeah.
You're thinking it through. It's emphatic.
Yes. Yeah.
So you're eating your soup with a fork? I mean, who does that?
Right. So you could get away with just saying you're eating your soup with a fork. Who does that? But putting I mean kind of stages what you're about to say a little bit. It's a little bit of a filler. It's a little bit
It's like a wind up.
It's a bit of a wind up. Yeah, exactly. The way like a pitcher might wind up or something in baseball. Exactly. It's a wind up. So we'll come back to this in another episode. If we haven't done it in a long time, we'll have to
do it.
refresh our listeners on this because I hear this constantly in American English.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And then Lindsay, this is the one that you were adding in. This is a really good one.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
Oh, even, right? So this one might be a little confusing for our listeners, but this is important to nail at the B2C1 level, guys. So for example, who even X that? This becomes more emphatic when we add even. It's optional, of course. So you told her to buy you a ring? Who even says that? I could have said, who says that? Who does that? But this adds emphasis and it says, this is a big deal, right?
Right. Yes. Exactly. So, and you can also combine these. You can combine,
Sure.
you can say, I mean, who even thinks like that, right? So
Yeah.
you can be a little creative with this. And another thing we want to point out is intonation, because it's
Yes.
not going to make sense unless you use emphasis and stress and personality in your voice. If you just say, who does that? No one's going to know, what, like, wait, what?
Yeah,
Right?
no, these have to be dripping with personality. So let's
Yes,
show our
I
listeners
love
that
it.
intonation in the role play, and really listen closely, guys, for our intonation. Okay. All right.
Okay, so here we are friends, and I am telling you about a dinner I had with my boyfriend.
Okay. Here we go.
Okay. So then he says, I'm second guessing our relationship because of your dog.
What? Who says that?
I know. Lindsay, are you licking your French fries?
Yes. I like the salt.
Okay. I mean, who does that?
I know. It's a gross habit.
Anyway, so I said to him, who even thinks like that?
What did he say?
He told me he was joking and he proposed. He's amazing. I mean, really, who does that?
That's so great. Oh my God. I don't know if I would like that if someone like threatened to break up with me and I was like, just kidding.
Just kidding. You want to marry me? Yeah, I know.
No,
Exactly.
I don't think that's a good style.
No, not a good strategy. Not
Don't
a good
do that, guys.
strategy. And Lindsay, you got to chill out with the fry
I
licking.
know,
You probably have some sort of deficiency.
Probably. I should have more salt in my life. I will say that when I order a margarita, if I ask for the salt rim, I'll be constantly like
Yeah.
getting that salt.
Oh, I know. I love salt. I really, I do.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Okay.
So let's go through it.
Yeah. So what we've got here is you said, so then he says, I'm second guessing our relationship because of your dog. And you said, what? Who says that? And
Yep.
I go real big on says, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I said, Lindsay, are you licking your French fries? And you said, yes, I like the salt. And I said, okay. I mean, who does that? So I'm teasing you. And, it wouldn't work if it was something serious that, or it wouldn't, this is fun. This is, I'm just teasing around.
Yeah.
We're good friends.
If I really didn't know it was bad manners, or if you were at a business lunch and for some reason someone started doing this, you wouldn't say that to them. You just might reconsider doing business with them, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, don't lick your French fries.
Don't like your French fries, yeah. And then I said, I know it's a gross habit. And you said, anyway, so I said to him, who even thinks like that? And what is the thinks like? What are, just to track here what we're talking about?
Yeah,
Michelle?
back to the boyfriend, like that he's second guessing the relationship because of the dog.
Yes. Yeah. Not a great way to wind up for a proposal, in my opinion.
No.
Try flowers, try a surprise instead, right? And then, Michelle, what's the last thing that was said?
Yeah. And then I said he proposed, and now I changed my tone. So now it's more of a positive thing. He's amazing. I mean, really, who does that? So even though Lindsay and I have agreed, don't do this. Here in the role play, I seem pretty impressed.
No, he's very impressed. Very impressed. You are. Absolutely. Guys, go and find episode 2578. Don't fall into these conversation traps. Oh my gosh. Aubrey and I recorded this one together. This was super interesting. Why we should avoid making comments on appearance, if someone's face is red, all kinds of things traps you might be tempted to fall into that seem innocent, but could lead you down the wrong path in conversation.
Ooh, so important.
So good. So good. But Michelle, this has been a really good one as well. What does it mean for connection?
Oh, well, tons. I mean, this is just a way for you to show your personality, show what you're thinking about, like, kind of what's normal, what's not normal, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, and to make some commentary on that. But again, you do need to be a little bit careful with it.
A little bit careful. Be a little bit careful, guys, and hit the follow button. We're going to see if we can do an episode on I mean, because it's such a staple of natural spoken English. All right. So make sure you don't miss that one. All right.
All right,
stuff.
guys. Thanks, Lindsay, for hanging out. And guys, we'll talk to you next time.
All right. Take care, Michelle. Bye.
Bye.